Music Entertainment.
What's up, family? It's your brother. Cool. I'm in a car right now. Raining outside. I have to say, man, I'm constantly growing every day as an individual, right? So, upon me kind of being able to start feeling people out now, on energy-wise, just came across this dude. You know what I'm saying? My sister introduced me to him. For sake of privacy, I won't put his name out there, but he was a really cool dude, and he wanted pretty much like I guess he found out a little bit about what's taking place within the system that we call the United States Corporation. And point blank, I felt the will and the want when I shook his hands. And I have to say, that shit was so powerful. It was so powerful. The will to want to know. That's what it takes to get you to the next level. The will to want to know. If there is no will, you ain't gonna go nowhere. And that's the biggest thing, because a person may have tons of knowledge in their brain and they may want to share it with people. And if you come across someone like that, be fortunate, because there are dudes out there who will step on your throat and tell you shit that sounds good just to get $1 at the expense of you, at your expense. So be thankful if you're around someone who genuinely has information and they want to give it out without expecting anything in return, except that you know and that you're better off. Be thankful for that, and don't take that shit for granted, because not everyone who's intelligent and knowledgeable about what's going on today does that, which is a fucking shame, but that's just how it is. So my biggest thing when I meet people and they're interested in something and then they want to start picking my brain. See, you can pick my brain for 100 years. No matter how long or in what ways you pick my brain, whatever is in my brain is not going to make sense to you the way it makes sense to me. Because I am me, and I can only be me. I am the only me on this planet. So no one else can be me the way I can be me. Point blank, period. And that goes for the same with you. I can show you information, but it won't click for you the way that it clicks for me. Meaning that when it comes to that will or want to know, you won't be denied the information. Why? Because the fact that you want to know, the universe now will bend to your will and show you things that it's always been showing you, but now that you want to know, you will just see it. It's not that, oh, the universe is revealing this shit to me all of a sudden. No, it's been revealing this shit to you the whole time. It's just now you're finally on that channel or that frequency to perceive it now. And that's all it takes, that will. Because like I said, you can pick my brain, but the way I make this information work for me is how I made it work for me. It makes sense to me the way it makes sense to me. It can't make sense to me the way it makes sense to other people. The way that the dots connect for me won't be the same for you. And that's the beautiful part about being I, the great I am. Because yeah, we're all different reflections of the Creator, but the Creator has many sides. See, people just think the Creator is just one entity. Yes, it is one entity, but that one entity is made up of many different sides, many different aspects, many different energies. You have to hold that into consideration. And this is why I feel really weird about putting a bunch of kids in one classroom under one teacher and expect them all to learn the same way. That is craziness. Because if you understand individuality, you know that the way the teacher's speaking to that particular student is perceiving the information a completely different way from the student across from them, or the student in front of them, or the student behind them. So for parents, or mothers and fathers, I'm sorry, let me bring this back down to nature. For mothers and fathers to assume that their sons and daughters all learn the same way is foolish. Not only foolish, but now you're putting a limitation on the individual's level of creativity. Because once again, we all don't, yes, we have the same amount of neurons and electrons within our brain. Yes, we do. No question about that. But how we access those energies, we all do it differently. Because we're all energies made up in different time periods. So those different time periods or spaces in between mean something. It's not just space. It has value to it. It has a certain energy to it. So this is why you have to be mindful of when you're born, what your sign is, what element you are. You have to be mindful of this shit. You can't just be wandering around this planet unconscious. So honestly, to me, I'm at a point right now is that if you don't at least know thyself in terms of planetary positioning when you arrived here, what type of energies were surrounding you when you came here? What type of energies surround you from month to month as the sun and the moon move through the different zodiacs? What type of energies are dictating your movements, your thoughts, your feelings? You gotta know this shit. If you don't, guess what? You're gonna go through the ups and downs of that sine wave called life. But our ancestors are so brilliant because it was like, yo, yes, we are subject to nature, but we can also make nature subject to us. As above, so below. As within, so without. So yes, we're subject to nature, but nature is also subject to us at the same time. If we can understand that, meaning if we can understand ourselves in terms of our energies, certain cycles, how we can map out our year, then we are no longer subject to nature, but now nature is subject to us while we're still subject to nature. Because in order to open up that pathway to be able to perceive, right, the information that nature's been given to us all along, we have to subject ourselves to nature. And in return, nature subjects itself to us. That is the beautifulness of duality. And so once again, what I'm saying is you have to have a will to want to know. Because you can go across as much information as you want. Or you can know someone who knows everything and you just want to pick their brain. But if you don't have that will, and that's why I respect that. That's why I respect that dude. I didn't tell him this, but I respect him off bat just by shaking his hand because I felt the will. And that's all I need. That's all I need to feel. And I'm not saying will can't be a bad thing. What I'm saying is I felt the will with a good intent behind it. You see what I'm saying? Like there wasn't a motive. Like there wasn't a selfish motive behind it. The motive was like, yo, there are things that I can do on my own, but I've been led to believe that I gotta depend on others to do things for me. That type of will, like, oh, I could do it on my own? Shit, nigga, tell me where it's at, and I'm gonna look it up, and I'm gonna figure this shit out. And if I can't figure this shit out, I'm gonna do the best I can, and then I'm gonna holler at you to fill in the blank spaces. That, my friends, is what it's all the fuck about. Where's your will at? Do you even want to know? Or do you just want to let life pass you by and then leave this plane with unanswered questions? Unanswered questions.